Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki spiritual healer. And so now a lot of you are aware that you have been living under a hex, under a curse sent out from the high society in our government, sent out a frequency, sent out to keep you blinded. It is a hex, it is a curse, it is a spell over your life that has been sent out as a frequency because a lot of you have been in alignment with this entity. A lot of you have not used your free will in order to find out the truth. And once, someone tells you the truth, you do not want to go along with that. You want to stay asleep. You want to stay in the lie, the fantasy that you were living. So therefore, so that you can have your way, so that you will not be held accountable. But once you understand the truth, once you know the truth, then you are held accountable for that. So I wanted you to understand one of the prayers that I like to pray from the Holy Quran, one of the surahs that I like to pray to break these kinds of curses upon the men and women who have been following the entity and who has been used, who has the frequency of black matter has been sent out as to blind, to gag you and tie you to the entity. There are people that continue to ask me questions about my live on Tuesday, and I just wanted to be clear that God has given us a way in order to get married, and it's certainly not dating. And as you understand that back in our parents' time, that if you were caught touching a woman, if you were engaged in in intercourse, then you were made to get married. And if you were, saying that, well, it's not you, you're not going to do it. They had shotgun weddings, where they would actually make you get married or you were unalive. So these are some of the things that I didn't say on yesterday. And there are a lot of things that, people do not want to align with, things that they don't believe that are true. But this is what we have to understand moving forward, that those people who have sent out this frequency to blind the men and women, in society, the entity has used this frequency to bound, gag, and tie you in society to the entity of something that's negative. They have sent out spells, hexes, and curses over the people with their laws, over the people, so that they will never be able to break free, and they will, only attack those who are vulnerable, because this is what the entity likes to do. They want you to attack the females. They want you to attack, the girl children. They want you to allow the sacrifice and the pedophilia inside the homes, in community and society, because this has been the norm. This has been what's sent out, that you can just do whatever you want with women, when, in actuality, 50, 60 years ago, you could not. 100 years ago, you could not. So we want to, see what is the difference between 1905, 1902, and 2025. The difference is that this is the spell that has caused people to fall, that they do not want to abide by what God has sent down. They do not want to believe. They have been under this this spell and this curse for so long, and they have been believing what the entity has given them, And again, they did not want to go and study for themselves. They did not try to go and study for themselves because they absolutely knew that they would find the truth. That this is not what the Bible, this is not what the Holy Quran intended for marriage. If you go to any other cultures, you would not be able to do the things that you do in society. You would not be able to marry women with no land, with no money. You would not be able to have children. You would not be able to reproduce. So again, you have to ask yourself, why has all the land been taken out of circulation by the entity, by the governmental narcissist, so that the regular men do not have a chance, to have that kind of, access to women or wealth circulating in the communities. They're taking all of the eloquent women. They take all the beautiful women, and they leave you with, the leftovers again. Same thing for the women. Either you're attacked or you're an entertainer where you have to be undressed until you're 70 years old, or until you're, in the grave, unalive. Okay? So we understand that what God has sent down, it has not been taught in society, because society, the governmental narcissist, has prevented these types of teaching. I glitched my system, I glitched it so much, across all of my platforms, because I'm telling you the truth, something that you've been, following the ways of your father for so long that, a lot of you hate the truth, and, you will be against the truth. A lot of you came against me on Tuesday because you didn't like what I was saying, that the women and the children in society, they're supposed to be protected by the husband. They're supposed to be protected by the men, by the brothers and fathers. And, and quiet as it's kept, all of those people who are pedophiles, who are, the scourge of the earth in society, they are supposed to be unalive. So this is why this kind of teaching is not taught, because society, the governmental narcissists, would rather let that kind of dark black matter grow in society, because that's why they say you'll never be able to break out of that negative energy, because you won't read for yourself. You're not going to teach it in the churches, but you're going to scream at women and say that, you're going to go 50-50 with me. No, that's not how this is working. If I got to go 50-50, if the woman is supposed to go 50-50 and she got to, give birth to the second pain of death, that's what giving birth is. And work and cook and clean and, and make sure that, you're taken care of mentally and physically, then, we'll just say no. I just need to defend myself against any kind of attacks, because we know that when, the opposite sex, when the males are not able to reproduce, they're not able, to carry out what God has lawfully given them to carry out, they start to get upset. They start to get agitated. They start to attack the people that's nearest to them. But again, this has been what's going on in society. This is what, society has given, instead of you attacking the governmental entity, the narcissists, those who have set these laws, those who have made it so that, you cannot have, the wealth, you cannot have anything for certain people. You do not attack them. And that's who you should be attacking. That's who each and every one of us should be lobbying. Every one of us should be talking about, where's my land? Where's where is my 40 acres and a mule? This is what we should be talking about. But, we are too busy worried about trying to put the opposite sex down instead of going by what God has given us. So I pray for us right now, because a lot of us want to go the way that the ancients have been going. They're going to continue to live under this spell, these hexes, and these curses that's been sent out in society. So we want to pray against that. We want to make sure that we are going by what God has sent down. We want to make sure that, we heal the mind and we have the clarity in order to see these frequencies that's been sent out, over generations. No matter how much you may despise it, this is the truth. That the only thing that, the elites want you to be worried about is the women. And not, why you can't own land. Why, they're not going to pay reparations when they pay reparations to everyone else. Is that the women's fault? And these are just questions that I have. Have the women ran society? Are the women responsible for the way that society is, that the way that the government is? And to each and every one of those questions, you would have to answer no. So that means you have to take your plight up with the entity who has created these, lies in society, who has sent out these laws, who has created this, decline in society. So each and every one of us should be, having lawsuits against these entities, the medical field, all of these people, these housings, the housing, the law enforcement, the government, all of these people. We should be, suing these people. And I cannot say that enough. So, instead of attacking your women, we have to pray against that negative entity, especially when it has been shown to us. And no matter where you look at in the, Holy Quran or the Holy Bible, it is there for you to see. So I'm going to prescribe for you today to go ahead and read Surah Al-Luqman, the wise, so that, you can get that enlightenment, so that you can have that understanding of what's going forward. But I also want to give you an example before we get out of here. And, when Moses was at the well, when he was giving the women sheep water, and the woman came back and got him for her father, he was married to one of his daughters. And on the fact that he worked for the father for, I think, 8 years. But he asked if he did 10 years, it would be a grace and a mercy from him. So the father was able to wed the daughter. And, upon him wedding his daughter to Moses, he was able to gain skills. He was able to also gain cattle. And he was also able, to get married and move forward with, his people, his wife, into other lands with their cattle, with the gifts the father had given him and her. Because he wasn't well-to-do. He was poor at the time. Okay? He was running away from the Egyptians. So these are some of the ways that I wanted to give you these types of marriages, in the Bible, the examples of the Holy Quran, the character of the men, the godly men, the ones who were believers, the ones who are chosen ones, and the ones that, hexes and curses and these spells could not go over on from the Pharaoh, and they should not be able to go over, on the chosen ones of this generation once they recognize the truth. So I hope that you read the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran for yourself. I really appreciate all of your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. I appreciate all of you. Book your one-on-one sessions with me so I can acclimate a gift if you are having negative attacks of spells, hexes, and curses upon you. Please leave a comment for me. Donate to my channel. Book your one-on-one sessions or your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.